Welcome to the Mind-Body Connection Summit, where we bring to you experts who bridge the gap between the mind and body to create a more fulfilled life, either personally and or professionally. Our next speaker today is Julie Page. She is the owner of Impact Coaching Solutions, where she empowers and equips individuals and businesses to reach their full potential. She's been coaching, speaking, and training for over 20 years, most of which was in the fitness industry. Her biggest thrill in life is to see clients close the growth gaps that have made them stuck and transform their lives and businesses in ways they never dreamed possible. Please stick around after she's done speaking. We're going to give to you a free gift from Julie. So Julie, you have the floor. I look forward to hearing what you have to share. Take it away.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to be talking today about building healthy lifestyle habits that last. And it's been interesting because just hearing the speakers throughout the day, we've been kind of leading up to it and everybody's kind of touched on that. So I'm excited to just share what I've found from my own life. So isn't it true that we all know how to live healthier? We know what to do: eat better, move more, less stress, drink more water, but are we doing it? That's the problem. So we may start and then we hit those obstacles and then we stop. Did you know that every new year, millions of people make a new New Year's resolution, new goal? I'm going to get fit. I'm going to lose weight, whatever it is. They join a gym. By February 1st, 1 month later, 70% fall by the wayside. And most of those probably, okay, I'll start again next January, right? And sadly, it's because we get stuck because we don't look at, well, how did we get unhealthy in the first place? So I know Linda talked about how I've done most of my coaching in the fitness industry. I used to own a gym, and it was just very interesting to me because I would talk to all my clients about, all right, we need to talk about the beliefs that got you to the place where you are in the first place. And if we don't, then you kind of lose the weight or get your goal. But then when you hit it, it's like a light switch that you turn off and then boom, you go back. And I had one gal that was very sad. She was getting ready for her son's wedding. She wanted to look really fabulous in the pictures. And I kept saying to her, look, you need to think beyond that. You need to think beyond. Nope. I'm not going to talk about, those beliefs or anything, poo-poo, all of that. And sadly, I saw her probably a couple months after her son's wedding, and she did reach her goals. She looked fabulous in the pictures, but then boom, she gained all the weight back plus some. So just very sad because she didn't want to look at that. So one of the things what I want to look at today is if we're struggling with habits and not able to make them stick, it's usually because what happens is we'll say this is what we want, but then we do down here. And then in between these two, that's what I call a growth gap. It's an area where we need to become somebody different than we are today to bring that up and in alignment. We've talked a lot about alignment today. So first of all, how do we close that gap? So we need to identify our core limiting beliefs. I know others have talked about limiting beliefs too. My belief is that there's two core limiting beliefs that kind of fall into two different categories. One is not enough. So listening to our talk, well, I don't have enough time to be healthy. I don't have enough time for grocery shopping or going for a walk. Not enough money. Not enough love. Maybe we grew up in a very hard environment as a young person, and so that can be something. So not enough is one. The other one is not good enough. And that might show up different ways. So like, well, I'm not a good enough trainer. I'm not a good enough mother, grandmother, wife, not a good enough friend, not a good enough employee. Kind of fill in the blank with that. And I will tell you, that's the one that I have struggled with most, is not good enough, and stems all the way back to my childhood of never feeling like I was enough for my parents. And so, for example, I would get my report card firstborn, straight A's, right? And I would get my report card and it would never be like, oh, great job, Julie. We're so proud of you. It'd be like, like nothing, silence. So I'm like, okay, I got to work harder. Like straight A's is not good enough. I got to do more, right? And I will tell you, this is like another whole story, but it's interesting. My dad is in the hospital right now. I am 60 years old. I still am working on this not good enough for my parents. Because with my dad in the hospital, different things have been happening. My mom starts bringing in the point system. I will just tell you, I'm at the bottom of the point system, and that is a really big struggle. So all that to say is that limiting beliefs, we can have them and we can grow in them, but we may have to always grow a little bit more. Like, I don't know, for me, that's such a core thing. Maybe I'll never reach it, but I will tell you this, last weekend, being with my sister, I saw myself like 10 years ago. That's how I would have reacted. So I'm like, oh, yay, I've grown. And then I could be there to kind of help her along on her growth. So identify our core limiting belief. Then we need to replace that belief with a new belief. So maybe an affirmation, maybe an empowering belief, maybe it's a fabulous quote we love. I'm a woman of faith, so I love using Bible verses sometimes as something to just build up and replace that belief. Now, a few different things to think about when we're replacing that belief. We don't want to say not or no. And what do I mean by that? We want to talk about what we want, not what we don't want. So if I'm wanting to lose weight and I love chocolate, no 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 chocolate. What am I hearing? Chocolate. What do I want to eat? Chocolate. It doesn't hear no. Okay, your mind does not hear the no. So we need to state our empowering belief in the present tense, as if we've already achieved it. Even though it maybe feels like we're lying, we need to state it in that present tense. We need to listen to our self-talk. So I've had a lot of clients in the past be like, oh, I can't figure out my limiting belief. How am I going to figure it out? Don't stress about it. Start listening to what you're saying, because it'll start to come out. Or watch what you're doing. All right. We act in the same way that we believe. So watch those rather than stressing out about that, because it always, our talk and our actions always point the way back to our beliefs. And then we need to say the new beliefs out loud. If we just think about them, it's not powerful. There's something powerful about the spoken word. So saying them out loud, maybe we have Post-it notes on the bathroom mirror, Post-it notes here, there, everywhere, journaling. Was it Lynette before me? She was talking about journaling. I love journaling, right? So however that helps with us, having it very much in there so that we can start to replace those limiting beliefs with the empowering belief. Doesn't happen overnight. No magic, sorry. No magic, just a lot of hard work, but it's worthwhile. Okay, so I want to share with you one story from my life. So I'm married to a runner. I have two girls who are in the Air Force who are runners, right? So I decided I'm going to start a running career. So I went out, I purchased the cute outfit, the running watch, everything. I mapped out my 2-mile course because that's what you're supposed to do. And I picked the perfect day to start. Beautiful weather, not too hot, not too cold, not raining. Here we go. I'm going to run. It was horrible. It was horrible, you guys. I thought I was going to die. Every single muscle hurt. I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. What's wrong with me? And this is when I was at my fittest. I was running boot camps. I was doing all this, but oh, I tell you, I thought I was going to die. So I thought, okay, I just need to get used to becoming a runner. So I did that every day for several weeks. It did not get any better. So I was ready to just kind of give up. But at that time, I was doing a lot of work personally on this limiting belief area. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try implementing this with my running. So the very next day, one day I was dying. The next day I went out, same clothes, same watch, same everything, same path. And I went out and I changed my self-talk. So instead of, oh, this is so hard, I'm going to die, I can't breathe, or am I almost there? I was like, oh, wow, I'm such a great runner. Oh, look at that beautiful flower over there. Oh, this is so easy. Oh, I'm almost there. Oh, I feel great, right? Guess what? I ran the whole thing without stopping. Whereas before that, I actually could walk the course faster than I could run it. Like who does that? Me. All right. But all that changed, you guys, what I want you to hear in this story is all that changed was what I was telling myself. That's it. I wasn't all of a sudden more fit the next day, nothing like that. No magical fairy godmother came down. Okay, ding, I make you a runner. So nothing changed except my beliefs. Henry Ford says it like this: whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So thirdly, we have to create lasting change by focusing on changing our daily habits. That happens little bit at a time, 1% change. We've had several other gals talk about habits and how to create habits. But I really would encourage people small. So like if you're starting out, okay, I am a couch potato, you're not going to go out and run 5 miles. You're setting yourself up for failure. So go out and walk for 10 minutes, right? And it's not, you don't even have to walk fast. So just start moving. So some quotes that I have heard recently. So I had the privilege in August to hear James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. Great message. And his one of his quotes that is favorite for me, he said, every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. So every day I get up and get out of bed and go for my little walk is an action saying, I want to be a healthy person. I want to live long and be strong. Every day that I decide to stay in bed and not go for that little walk is a day where I'm choosing, nope, I just want to have no energy and be in pain, right? So every single action we take. The other quote that I love is John C. Maxwell. He's one of my mentors. And he says, the secret to your success is found in your daily agenda. He even said in August when I saw him, you know what, I can spend one day with any of you and I'll be able to walk away and tell you what kind of person you are and whether you'll be successful or not by just watching what you do during the day. So secret to success is our daily agenda. And the last quote I want to share, because this is a James Clear one too. The other thing he said is never miss twice. Isn't it easy? If we get out of a habit, it's easier to fall back to our old habits if we miss one day. But what happens when we miss one day? Oh, we miss 2, 3, 4, and then pretty soon we find we're back. So if we make a commitment to ourselves, I'm never going to miss twice, because sometimes life happens, right? So we miss out on whatever our habit we've said we're going to do. So just don't miss twice and just make that commitment to you, to yourself. Consistency compounds. So start small, little baby steps, because every little baby step is going to build on each one. And pretty soon you're going to have big whopping steps. So my question to you, what goal have you been stuck in trying to achieve? Where there's just frustration because every time you try, something happens, right? So then what we need to do, identify that limiting belief. If we don't know what the limiting belief is, then just watch our actions, listen to our self-talk. It'll point the way back. And then replace that with an empowering belief. And then start with one small action. Don't try to bite off. I mean, what was I just reading today? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You don't just gobble it all down in one. So bite it off small bits. And each day we do a small bit and we get there. So any questions?
Awesome one. Thank you so much for the great presentation. We do have a question over there. Again, the Facebook is going crazy. I just love it. It's so amazing. But there was something you mentioned there that I love that growth gap, because you said this is what we want and this is what we're doing, but then in between is that growth gap. And so it's, finding people who can help you to get to that level, to that next level. And then also our mindset, which is like your talk was like all about this mindset. There was something that you mentioned about the running. And I just want to share something that happened for me that I didn't know was happening for me. The first time I participated in a marathon, I went through this training program. And the very first day, we all showed up. I'm dressed up. I got my stuff. It's like, I think like 50, 60 people there. And this is the first day of training. I had never run a day in my life. I was in band and I didn't even have PE, because band was considered PE back in the day. And so here we are, I'm getting ready to run. And the coach says, okay, you guys are going to go run around this lake. He didn't tell us how far it was. So when we got back, I was like, oh man, I can't believe I did it. I ran. I'm so excited. And then he told us it was 3 miles. I ran 3 miles without knowing I ran 3 miles. Now, if he had told me ahead of time, okay, it's going to be 3 miles, it's going to be uphills, downhills, you might get a little bit tired. If he had given us all this different information, I might not have done as well as I did. So my point there is that sometimes ignorance is bliss.
That's true.
But it's interesting because, like you said, see the self-talk, and that's the question here is like, what is your new self-talk mantra? Because your self-talk was one thing is that, this is going to be hard. I'm going to hate it, whatever, all the different things that were going on. And then you turn that self-talk around. So what is your new self-talk, like just on a regular basis or in new situations like that you're encountering?
Okay. So before I answer that, I forgot one thing, if that's okay, Linda. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to say to people, the QR code opposite on my screen is just for you to give some feedback on the talk. So I would appreciate that. It takes about 2 minutes. It's a survey. But with my self-talk, so I've just learned to turn it around. So for example, the chocolate one is true, and I really struggle with that. So instead, what I would say is I'm going to enjoy 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. With the running, I kind of shared what I did there. One of my latest self-talks is, without going into a lot of detail, but in the last few years, I've had car accident, disease, like just a lot of different stuff. And so it's very easy to get stuck in the past of, well, I used to be a boot camp, kick butt boot camp instructor, and now look at me, and no, I'm at a different spot in life. And so to be able to accept that and embrace that, rather than always comparing to what I used to be when I was 20 or 30 or even 50, right? So I think putting it in a positive present tense, but also not falling into that gap, which we as women can really do very easily, I think, of just comparing to the past. Well, men can do that too. So
what's an example then what's a new mantra that you have for those types of situations?
I don't really have one for everything. But I would say, again, I said as a woman of faith, so some of the ones that I really love is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that's been a very helpful one. Another one is not focusing on what is behind me, but focusing on what is ahead of me, forgetting what lies behind, reaching forward to the new prize and goal in front of me. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. It's just creating those mantras that are the positive tone. And Lynette says, I'm in better shape as I step into 60 than I was in my 30s and early 40s. And so that's awesome, right? Because it's through the mindset that has shifted. Now you have a free gift. Your free gift is a complimentary 60-minute coaching session. Oh, that's amazing. And you can get your free gift at actiontakerspublishing.com/summit-dashboard. And Julie, share with us, like, why should we hop on this 60-minute call? Like, I think it's obvious, but why don't you tell us?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I do, some people do like more of a consult or a discovery call, but I actually like to do, Linda, a true coaching call. So then the client would come, okay, this is what I want to work on today. this is what I want to walk away with. And I actually take them through the whole coaching process so that you will walk away with action steps to implement towards your goal.
Fantastic. Because it's that action, right? This, you said like the start small, taking one small action. It doesn't have to be astronomical. It's just taking something, some sort of action towards that goal that you want to reach. I want to thank you so much, Julie, for being part of this summit and sharing your brilliance with us. This was great. I really love what we learned from here. And it's, you know, Patty too says, at 66, I'm feeling pretty darn good, you know, and so
Good.
really it's that mindset that
Yep.
we have, you know, moving into it. And you can be a tired 66, or you can be an energetic. If you meet Patty, you'll see how extremely energetic she is. And so thank you again for being part of this. Truly appreciate you and the brilliance that you have to share with us.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you too, Sally.